Imagine standing in the middle of a deserted street. The wind is the only thing you hear. But then, the air changes. You hear the faint clatter of horse hooves, a whistle from a distant steam engine, laughter of children playing somewhere nearby. Gas lamps flicker in the mist, and suddenly, the street is alive again. This is not a dream. This is augmented reality, a bridge between the present and the past. Welcome to Mixed Reality Heritage, a journey through America's forgotten places. Places you've walked past without knowing their stories. Stories hidden beneath glass towers and asphalt roads. Our first destination, New York City. But not the skyline you know today. No flashing billboards. No roaring traffic. Just the year 1880. The city smells of coal smoke and fresh bread. The streets are narrow. Wooden carts rattle by. Market vendors shout prices for apples and fish. Laundry sways on lines strung between buildings. You see men in bowler hats, women in long skirts rushing with baskets, and everywhere steam curling into the cold air. This is the magic of technology. A braille doesn't just show history. It puts you inside it. You can look up and see the sky darkened by chimney smoke. You can turn and hear a street musician's violin. You can watch a little boy chase a stray dog down the alley. Every detail feels alive. But here's the question. Why bring the past back at all? Because without it, we forget who we are and where we've been. These streets carried the footsteps of immigrants, people who left everything behind for a chance to build a life here. They came with nothing but hope and built the foundations of modern America. But time has buried their voices and their faces. Now technology gives them back to us. In AR, they walk again. They speak again. Their eyes meet yours. And you realize history is not in books. It's in the streets beneath our feet and the walls around us. Each brick, each stone holds a memory. Mixed reality lets us see it, feel it, live it. But this journey is only beginning. Today, it's 1880s New York. Tomorrow, we go to the fields of Gettysburg, where the air once shook with cannon fire, where soldiers clashed in the fight that shaped a nation. You will walk the battlefield, hear the commands shouted, smell the gunpowder, and see the faces of men who never came home. Not paintings, not photographs, but living, moving moments in front of your eyes. We will step into their world and witness history like never before. So, will you come with me? Into the past? Into the truth? This is not just a documentary. It's a time machine. A machine made of pixels, sound, and memory. And in the next chapter, the past will not just be told, it will be shown, right where it happened. Stay with me, because what you are about to see will change the way you see history forever. This is America rebuilt, remembered, and reborn through the eyes of those who lived it, through the streets that remember. This is Mixed Reality Heritage. The ground beneath your feet feels damp. Mist curls over the grass. You can hear the slow, distant roll of drums. And then, a single cannon blast shatters the silence. We are no longer in the present. This is Gettysburg, July 1863. The most decisive battle of the American Civil War. Over 160,000 soldiers, two armies facing each other across these fields. Through AR, the battlefield returns. You can see the lines of Union soldiers in blue coats, their rifles gleaming in the morning light. Across the field, Confederate forces advancing, their flags snapping in the wind. The air smells of gunpowder. Horses rear and snort, their hooves tearing the soil. Commanders shout orders above the chaos. Smoke fills the sky, blurring friend from foe. And yet every face is clear to you. You see the fear in a young soldier's eyes, the determination in another. You watch as one man drops to his knees, not from injury, but to clutch a photograph of the family he may never see again. This is not a painting, not a reenactment. This is history, rebuilt in the exact place it happened. You can walk among them, hear their voices, stand in the shadow of their choices. But Gettysburg is more than just a battle. It is the turning point of a nation, a place where America decided whether it would remain whole or break forever. When the gunfire stops, the silence feels heavier than the noise. You see the wounded lying in the grass. You see the field dotted with the still forms of those who gave everything. And somewhere, far away, a church bell rings. In that moment, AR shows us not only the war, but its cost. These were not nameless soldiers. They were fathers, brothers, sons, men who laughed, loved, and dreamed. Men who never came home. Gettysburg is a reminder that history is not just about victory, but about sacrifice. And when you remove the headset, you're still standing on the same ground. But now you feel its weight. You know what happened here, and you can never unknow it. Next, our journey moves west to the untamed frontier, where the railroad cut through mountains, and towns rose overnight in the dust of gold and steel. The story of America's expansion, and the price paid for progress. The air is dry. A hot wind lifts the dust from the ground. Somewhere in the distance, a steam whistle cries. We are in the American West, late 1800s, a land both beautiful and dangerous. Vast open plains stretch to the horizon. Mountains cut the sky like jagged teeth. Through AR, the railroad is alive again. Steel tracks gleam under the sun. A locomotive roars into view, its wheels pounding the earth like a heartbeat. Men swing hammers in rhythm. The clang of metal on metal echoes through the valley. Every strike pushes the railroad further west. Every mile changes the land forever. But the West is not empty. Native American tribes watch from a distance. For them, this iron road is not progress. It is a threat to their way of life. In the AR reconstruction, you see both sides. On one side, settlers with dreams of a new life. On the other, native families fearing the loss of their home. The tracks cut through their hunting grounds, their sacred places. The boom towns rise almost overnight. Saloons, general stores, wooden sidewalks. The sound of poker chips and piano music spills into the street. Gunfights break out in alleys over land, money, or pride. Gold prospectors arrive, chasing fortune. Some find it. Most do not. The railroad brings opportunity, but also greed, violence, and broken promises. In one scene, you walk through a half-built station. A man offers you a ticket to San Francisco, and behind him, another man is gambling away his last coin. Life here is fast, unforgiving, and always on the edge. The AR experience doesn't choose a hero. It shows the West as it was, raw, conflicted, alive. When the sun sets, the horizon glows in gold and red. The train whistle echoes one last time, and the frontier waits for morning, and whatever comes with it. Next, our journey will leave the land and step onto the sea, into the story of immigrants crossing the Atlantic to build a new life in America. The sky is gray over the Atlantic. Waves rise and fall like the breath of a restless giant. The ship creaks beneath your feet. We are in the year 1907, one of the busiest years in Ellis Island history. Over 1 million immigrants will pass through these waters. Through ARR, the ship around you is alive again. Men, women, and children huddle together on the deck. Worn clothes cling to their bodies. Salt wind stings their faces. Some clutch small bundles, everything they own in the world. Others grip family hands tightly, afraid of losing each other in the crowd. The journey is long. The air smells of coal smoke and the sea. At night, the stars stretch endlessly above. Some passengers whisper prayers. Others imagine the streets of New York they've never seen. Days later, a shout rings out. Land! Through the fog, the Statue of Liberty appears. Her torch seems to burn even through the mist. For some, it is hope made real. For others, it is the first step into the unknown. Ellis Island comes into view. The AR experience takes you into the registry hall, sunlight pouring through tall arched windows. Lines of people wait for the inspectors. Doctors check eyes, hands, posture. Clerks ask names, sometimes changing them forever with a stroke of a pen. A woman answers in broken English. A boy stands silent, too young to understand. A man fumbles for his papers, knowing a mistake could send him back. Some are welcomed, others are turned away. Each decision shapes a life and the history of the nation. You walk through the crowded hall, hearing dozens of languages at once. Smelling bread from the cafeteria, hearing the scratch of pens on paper. When you remove the headset, Ellis Island is quiet now, but the walls still remember. Every step here is heavy with the weight of millions of stories. Next, our journey will take us into the heart of America's greatest trial, a moment when the entire world stood on edge. The days of World War II, and the voices of those who lived it. The year is 1944. The world is at war. Every continent feels the weight of conflict. Through AR, an American city comes alive. Factory whistles echo through the streets. Women in coveralls work assembly lines, turning steel into engines of war. Posters call for unity, for sacrifice, for victory. Children collect scrap metal in burlap sacks. In a corner diner, a radio crackles with the latest reports. A mother stirs her coffee, eyes fixed on the words frontline and casualties. She hides the letter in her purse, its envelope marked with a military seal. Suddenly, the scene shifts. Cold wind hits your face. You're standing in Normandy. The landing craft rocks in the surf. Men clutch rifles, faces pale under their helmets. The ramp slams down, and chaos erupts. Gunfire, sand explodes in bursts. Medics drag the wounded to safety. The ocean smells of salt and smoke. You follow the soldiers inland, past shattered walls and empty windows. A tank rumbles by, its metal plates scorched and dented. In a quiet side street, a child peers from behind a doorframe, clutching a worn doll. The AR lets you see both the courage and the cost. Not just battles, but the weight carried by every heart. Then, silence. The war is over. Times Square erupts in celebration. Sailors embrace strangers. Flags wave. Church bells ring. But even in the joy, there is a quiet undercurrent memories that will never fade. The headset fades to black. For a moment, stillness. Then, faint echoes of footsteps. A single voice. History is not behind us. It walks beside us. Images flash. New York's crowded streets of 1880. Gettysburg's silent fields. The endless railroad tracks. The registry hall of Ellis Island. And the victory crowds of 1945. They merge into one image, a living, breathing America. The voice returns. The past is not gone. It is within us. And it is ours to carry forward.